Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Monday, the 11th of August. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is perched above that uptrend line there from June. It's also perched above the old rising trend channel, which this market uh, pushed above late last month. And that level now 90.80. So that needs to hold on an end of day close basis. So we've got a bit of a cushion there. RSI at 59, which is nice and a good place for further moves to the upside. Initial target here up to 92.40, perhaps by the end of this month. Best case up to 9400, the upper parallel of that June support line there, basically up the top of that channel at 9400. So that's also a decent target. There is a rug pull then expecting either towards 9030, which was the initial August support, or if they want to be nasty, then the 50-day line down at 8930. But at the moment looks reasonably set fair, if a little dull. The DAX is next, and here you can see that we're still struggling within that, hopefully a bull flag, but at the moment you could also call it a falling trend channel there from the beginning of last month. 24,400 the level to break, but while we're above that rising 50-day line and above the neutral 50 RSI 50 level, still looking for that 24,400 to break and hit the top of the channel here at 25,400, presumably by the end of next month, not by the end of this month, but could be by the end of this month. Otherwise, support towards 23,000 is a worst case scenario. The Dow is next, and obviously we looked at that over the weekend, but maybe having another look now. Here you can see that we got that 44 to 45,000 range, which was there at the beginning of last month. We had a little dip down to the rising 50-day line. Positive, it's very positive actually that we found support above that rising 50-day line. That tends to be leading indicator on the upside. So basically, while we're above the 50-day line, looking for 45,000 as a near-term target, maybe over the rest of August, and also looking for that to break at some time in coming weeks. Best case by the end of next month, 47,400 at the top of that rising trend channel from back in May last year. RSI still on the right side of neutral 50. Onto the cryptos that we look at. So first one is Bitcoin, which has done kind of what we wanted it to do. I think intraday we've had a peak at 122, not quite up to last month's 123, but if we can get an end of day close above 121, then we're looking for a pretty straight move up to 132,000 perhaps by the end of this month, which is a positive development. On the downside, 115, hopefully the floor in any retracement that we get. See, there's been an RSI 50 rebound, which is a leading indicator on the upside, and that's what we've got in terms of upside. Moving on to Ethereum, which I started including in this sweep, I think about a month ago, and hoping that it would go to record highs. It's done that. The old resistance from December around 41,000, which it was 41,000, 4,100. Above that, we're looking for 4,500, which is the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from February. If you're a fan of Ethereum and looking for glory, best case by the end of next month is 5,500, which is the upper parallel of the first parallel line. Moving along to the situation at gold, and here did look temporarily exciting with the sort of pretend or the fake news, perhaps, that there was going to be tariffs on gold imports, but at the moment, still struggling below that 3430 April resistance line. Need to see an end of day close above that to give us 3800. Perhaps not by the end of this month, but maybe by the end of next month. I believe that Goldman Sachs are looking for 3800 by the end of the year, but normally, whatever they say, it's the other direction. In terms of the downside, 3320, the area of the floor of the channel, and the 50-day line, which is rising, which is good, are the potential support points. And there has been an RSI 50 rebounds above the bounce for the RSI above that neutral 50 level. 57 is almost like the perfect position for a move to the upside. Moving on to the stocks, and quite a few repeats of the recent past. First one is Aptamer, where the shares are making a beeline for that 0.68 target that we've factored in once we broke the 0.52 area. So that looks like it's on the cards. In fact, might be slightly better than that if you think that the angle of the resistance line there is a little bit shallow. But at least up towards zero point 0.7 for this stock while we're above the low 50s, which looks quite doable. Looking for that by the end of next month, and hoping that we'll get there maybe even before that time frame. On to Audioboom, where it's been a rocky ride, a difficult ride as well, but we have things in place here that we can look at. The first one is the bear trap gap reversal that we had, which started the rally, which is great. We've also had two bounces for the RSI at neutral 50, or just below neutral 50, which is almost as good. And the main resistance last month's peak towards £4 at 3.95. So end of day close above that could take us up to the top of the channel there from March, as high as £5 by the end of next month or even sooner. And obviously, this stock tends to be plagued by sellers into strength, as you can see from not only the February peak, but also the £4 area, which seems to be the new selling into strength area. On the downside, hoping that we don't get any price action now back below the 50-day moving average, 348. On to Blencowe, where I can see the CEO seems to be keen on delivering an interview almost every other day, but probably justified in the sense that things are starting to turn around for the company. In terms of the price action, we had a gap higher, unfilled gap to the upside back in June, and shares not really looked back since then, which is good. The initial target here was 4.8 pence. Next level up is up to 6 pence, which we're looking for by the end of next month, while we remain above the recent support there around 4.1 pence. Next on the list is another frequent flyer here, stock which has really done us proud. CAPEX, here you can see that we're making progress within that rising trend channel from back in April. Top of the channel heading for as high as 0.6 pence by the end of next month. And we're looking for that while we remain on the right side of recent support around 0.37. So hopefully the shares will deliver. We already had an RSI, in fact, multiple RSI 50 rebounds since back in May, which is must be some kind of record, especially the last one, which was well above RSI 50. So hopefully the 0.6 area nailed on for the end of next month, and especially if we can stay on the right side of July resistance at 0.4 pence. Next on the list is Cobra, which is also up and away at the moment. Almost every day delivering us a decent RNS. We were looking for the shares to hit 3.5 pence once we cleared the 2 pence area. It looks like they are listening. In fact, we could even get up to as high as 4 pence by the end of next month, which is the resistance line projection from back in 2020. So that really would be quite an achievement. Multi-year highs, hopefully beckoning for the stock. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 2.5 pence now, which was the initial resistance a week or two ago for the start of August. Quite happy with this next situation where I've tried to change the normal agenda of getting on the back of situations as they move, sort of momentum situations. But this one was 26 pence this time last week, and the forecast was that it could head up to 46 pence probably by the end of next month. Currently, we've had a peak as high as 44 pence, which is not a bad effort, I think, after a week. Still looking for 46 pence now by the end of this month, while we're above resistance on the way down, which was around 31 pence. So let's see if CEPS can step up to the plate. The other thing to note is that we've had an RSI 50 rebound as well, well above RSI 50. So hopefully that gives the shares extra or continuing momentum. On to European metals, where the chart is almost a perfect setup in the sense that we've had an unfilled gap to the upside through the 50 and 200-day moving averages. You can argue that both are starting to rise already if you look very closely. Also, a couple of RSI 50 rebounds as well, and a V-shaped bull flag breakout through basically the 9.9 pence area, just below 10 pence. Looking for the top of the channel there at 13 or 14 pence by the end of this month. The charting configuration of the 50 and 200-day lines is that they're going into a golden cross, so that should speed up the upside. In fact, really one would be looking for a channel like that, channel top like that, up to 17 pence by the end of next month. On to Falcon, and here obviously great news from Beetaloo. Here you can see that we've got this rising trend channel. We've gapped up above rising 50 and 200-day moving averages, which is a very strong signal. And that's effectively a ongoing golden cross, looking for 10 pence by the end of this month, while we're above the 50-day line, 6.8 pence. On to Georgina, where the company still fights back against all the mudslinging, personal mudslinging against the company. But it looks as though the 5 to 5.5 pence area is the proper support, lasting support for the shares. So far, we've opened at the low and we're at the high. So looking for about 9 to 10 pence, maybe by the end of this month, if there is no more mudslinging to spoil the party. Ideally, we stay above 5.75 pence on an end of day close basis, which was recent broken resistance. Felt like I haven't looked at Kodal for a while, and here we've got an interesting setup with RSI 50 rebounds. We've also got the support coming in above a rising 50-day line, so that's basically two leading indicators on the upside. This suggests that this is a bull flag after a bear trap rebound that we had back in June, and looking for a minimum at the top of that broadening triangle from November, as high as 0.7 pence by the end of this month, hopefully. But obviously, should get there by the end of next month at the latest. Only back below that 50-day line, 0.3 pence, really ruining the bull scenario for that situation. Looking at Mkango now, which is basically a lap of honor for the bulls. Here we've got that rising trend channel from February. Draw the channel there around 34 pence, and above that, looking for 45 pence, hopefully by the end of this month or even sooner. We've had 3 RSI 50 rebounds in the recent past, so they're all leading indicators on the upside, although you don't really need that. You can see that the shares are riding high at the moment. On to Nativo, which was also called higher in time, I think before the massive rise on Friday. Here you can see we've got this broadening triangle, top of the triangle there at 0.85. We're looking for that maybe as soon as the end of this month, the way things are going, and looking for that while we're above previous 0.5 pence resistance. So hopefully that will become new support, as it has already done so today. Another stock I haven't looked at for a while is Ondine, and here we've had a ricochet off the 50-day, the rising 50-day line at 12.8 pence. We were already looking for the top of the channel here, which has been hit twice. That's at 15 pence, but the sizzle is that an end of day close or end of week close above 15 sometime this month could take the shares up to as high as 23 pence by the end of next month. You can see we've got a saucer-shaped turnaround there, which is looking quite healthy. Finishing off with Smarter Web, and here shares gingerly going up. It looks as though we've got the floor of a rising trend channel there, the red line there from June. That's around, let's say, call it the £2 mark. Initial target here, the 50-day line, £2.50, especially given the way that the shares seem to be absorbing the fundraisers and all the Bitcoin buying the company's doing. If you're cautious, you just wait for an end-of-day close of the RSI back above neutral 50 versus 46 at the moment, as we haven't been above that neutral 50 level for basically the best part of the month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.